Alright, I am Chronic Mayhem, and today we have something for the content creators. We're taking a look at the FIFINE AmpliGame D6 Stream Controller. Let's get into it. Alright, first off, FIFINE did send this product over for review. They do not get to see this video before I post it. No agreements were made about what I can and cannot say in this review, and all of the thoughts and opinions in this video are my own. So today we have a different kind of controller on the channel. This is the FIFINE AmpliGame D6 Stream Controller. It's targeted towards streamers and content creators and meant to be an alternative to the Elgato Stream Deck. At the time of making this video, the FIFINE D6 Stream Controller is $79.99 in comparison to the Elgato Stream Deck Mark II, which is $149.99 on the Elgato website. We are going to go through this video and see what you're getting for that much cheaper price and if it is a legitimate alternative to the Elgato Stream Deck. But before we go through all that, let's see what you get in the box. So the unit is going to come in this box right here. It is a very purple box. It's going to have very nice cut foam inside, which is a nice thing to see, especially for a unit that is priced so low. You get your instruction manual, and you get your USB-A to USB-C cable, but I do have a comment about that cable. And of course, you get the unit itself, which is a 15-button unit just like the standard Stream Deck, and we'll go through all of the features of the physical unit itself next. So the unit itself is 15 buttons, just like on the standard Stream Deck. They are a glossy plastic, as you can see here, the light reflecting on it. What's nice is you have this RGB ring that goes all the way around as well, and you can control that with this button on the back here, which control the brightness or the lighting effects. It has a USB-C port on the back, and it has a fixed angle here. Now on the Mark I Stream Deck, which I do have over here that I'm using right now, you could adjust the height because it had a detachable stand. The Mark II Stream Deck does not have that. It's also a fixed angle. And that's primarily the main difference between the Mark I and Mark II Elgato Stream Decks, minus you can also change the faceplates on the Mark II Stream Deck and you can't on the Mark I. All the other features are virtually the exact same. I mentioned the cable when I was showing the box. It is a very long cable. It's a nice rubber cable, and it does have a cable tie right here with FIFINE branding on it. My one complaint is, so you have this adapter that will change your USB-C to USB-A, which is a nice touch. It is permanently attached to this cable though. What I noticed, whenever I tried to use this adapter right here, it seems to only transfer power, but not data. I would use this adapter here and the unit would light up, but my computer would not recognize it as a device. But if I took this off and started using the USB-C part, everything would work fine. So unless this cable is just effective, I would just cut this off, throw this part away. And if you need another adapter, get one that you know for sure will transfer data. Because for whatever reason, this part right here only transfers power, at least on my unit, which was a weird quirk, which I did not expect. Other than that, it's a great cable. So let's plug in the unit now. It's the wrong end, of course. I guess not that it matters, they're both USB-C, but I didn't want the adapter flopping on that end. So when you plug it in, you get this screen right here, and then a default RGB pattern kind of goes around the top. I have mine set to blue right now. And then once the software boots up, like so, you will then see all of the things you've programmed onto here. Now, I have several CPU reading here, some GPU reading buttons here, and some folders here for when I want to use YouTube or Twitch. Just like on the normal Stream Deck, you can set folders, you can set hotkeys, You can control OBS like this. With this, as it shows right on the box, this is compatible with OBS, which is the main thing that I think will be important to content creators and Twitch streamers. And you can do as many pages as you want, just like on the traditional Stream Deck. You may notice the CPU and the GPU is blank. I've noticed when the program first starts up, it takes a minute for these readings to start to show up on the keys. But in the middle of me talking, they'll probably pop right up. So this is my Mark I Stream Deck that I use every time I change all my scenes. Another thing I like to use the Stream Deck for is I use it for sound bites, kind of like a radio host. And I wanted to see if I could do that with the AmpliGame too, because one thing I have kind of grown frustrated with the Stream Deck is having only 15 buttons and needing to cycle back and forth between my scenes and my OBS stuff. And then, oh, something funny happens and now I want to use a soundbite. So I've always wanted more keys, but I didn't want to spend another $150 on another Stream Deck or $250 for the 32 key Stream Deck, which is a huge price. I mean, it's a fine product, but that's a lot for just to get some more keys. So that's the main reason why these Stream Deck alternatives have been really appealing to me. One thing I've noticed, I'm not sure if I will be able to show it, is I've noticed the keys on the AmpliGame are a lot sharper than with the cord. I doubt I'll be able to show you, than on the Mark I Stream Deck. Now, granted, this is a Mark I, but I've heard Elgato say repeatedly the only difference between the Mark I and the Mark II is the non-adjustable stand. So that the clarity of the buttons would be about the same. The buttons on the AmpliGame are very sharp, as you can see here. They're very bright and vibrant too. They look great. I was a little afraid, as it being a, not an Elgato product, that it was going to be a little bit more fuzzy or the quality was not going to be there. But I mean, this unit is very rigid. It feels great. The RGB ring is a nice touch, and you can use the button back here to change all the colors. You can cycle through solid colors, and there's some lighting effects too, like rainbow, breathing, flashing, etc. You can't go in and like set your own individual any color you want, but there's enough options here to really, I think, suit any setup that's out there. So as you see here, I've set it up to be the exact same as my Stream Deck. You can customize all these as well. As you can see, I have custom pictures on all my Stream Deck. You can do that as well. I just haven't moved all those over to this unit yet, but when we go through the software, I will show you how to do all that and how similar the software from this is to the Elgato software. So there won't be a steep learning curve if you're moving over to this unit. As I mentioned before, see now the readings are popping up here on the Stream Deck for my GPU and my CPU. So that's another function you can have with this. This has a lot of the same apps as the Elgato Stream Deck, so you won't really be losing much unless you have some really niche uses for the Elgato Stream Deck. But if you need something just to control Twitch or OBS or have something you can assign hotkeys to, this has seemed like a real solid alternative for half the price of the Elgato Stream Deck. So this has been a really pleasant surprise, and I really have no complaints other than the weird attachment on the cable that doesn't transfer data. But that's a weird oversight and an easily fixable thing, since this cable is detachable and you can just not use that adapter and just use a USB-C port. One thing I would like to mention as well is one of my complaints about the original Stream Deck is how mushy these buttons feel when you push them. Now, when I'm reviewing controllers and we talk about rubber membrane switches, whether they're mushy or if they have a strong tactile feedback or not, these do not have a strong tactile feedback at all. If you're familiar with the Elgato Stream Decks, you know how soft and how mushy these buttons feel. They do not feel great. Here, they are still rubber membrane, but they are heavier. They're heavier to push, but they have a much stronger tactile feedback, and they feel much more crisp than they do on the Elgato Stream Deck. So this has been a much more enjoyable button to press. versus the buttons on the Elgato Stream Deck. The buttons also are a little bit larger as well. Let's see if I can show this to you. You can see the size difference between the Elgato Stream Deck and the FIFINE AmpliGame. These buttons are larger, they're sharper, and they have a much stronger tactile feedback versus the Elgato Stream Deck. So, I mean, this has been, I know it sounds like a glaze fest, but I really have not had any complaints about the physical unit of this device. And I think it is going to sit on my desk and I'm going to operate. I'm going to use both my current Stream Deck and this at the same time. The one downside to that is you will have to have the FIFINE and the Elgato Stream Deck software running at the same time, but the FIFINE software I've seen actually uses less resources than the Elgato Stream Deck software. Speaking of the software, so here we are in the FIFINE software for the control deck or the D6 Stream Deck. Now, if you've noticed, it looks awfully similar to the Elgato Stream Deck software. In fact, let me bring up my display just so I can show both at the same time. So on the left, you have the Elgato Stream Deck software, and on the right, you have the FIFINE Control Deck software, or the software for the D6. They are very similar. I almost want to say it's almost like FIFINE straight up copied the Elgato software, but I mean, the Elgato software is great, so I don't blame them for taking some design cues from it. It's a little odd that they seem to have copied it almost exactly. Some changes they have made that I like is I kind of like the little display of the device down here. So if you do have multiple of them, you can see which one you are looking at. But you have the exact same icons over here, or the exact same placement for all of your different modes over here that you have for the Elgato Stream Deck. And you have a lot of the same similar functions. So I just wanted to show that. Now we can switch back. So here we are. These are the folders you saw me create earlier, where it's all of my OBS settings as well. If you did want to have custom icons here, it's a little bit different than on the Stream Deck where you have the two circles on the bottom. You click this gear here, you can select a file from your computer or from the icon library from things you have downloaded off the FIFINE App Store. Or I won't say store, everything I've seen on there has been free so far, but we'll just call it a store for now. You can get more icons there just like you can on the Stream Deck, or you can use icons from your computer and set these all as custom. These are all programmed to my OBS. They're all OBS tools. I've noticed on the default OBS tool, you do not have a profile switcher like you do on the Elgato Stream Deck's OBS tool. Luckily, all of the bar raters that are on the Elgato Stream Deck are also here on the FIFINE, which was fantastic, because then you're really not losing any functionality. And luckily, I was able to add the OBS bar rater tool, and then I could switch profiles between my YouTube profile on OBS and my Twitch streaming profile on OBS. And to make sure I can use the FIFINE for all the same functions I currently use with the Stream Deck, I did add one of my sound bites here.
Welcome to the party, pal!
A little clip from Die Hard. I use that whenever someone I recognize joins the Twitch chat. So I can use all this for my sound bites, my switching scenes in OBS or on Twitch, and all that stuff. So I really have not run into any functions on the FIFINE that I cannot do that I currently do on the Stream Deck. So that's been really great. Now, there has been some things I have noticed when you're going into the App Store, which is the little A right here. So this is the store for the FIFINE controller. Again, it is very similar to the Elgato Stream Deck App Store. One thing I have noticed is when you switch to icons, there is very little choices for icons right now. I assume this will change in the future as this is still a new product, but you only have 6 options right now for additional icon packs through the app market here. I added the Blade gaming one here, which is also on the Elgato Stream Deck one. I have that now on both. So if I wanted them to match exactly right next to each other, I could do that. And hopefully some of my favorite icon packs that I do have on the Elgato Stream Deck will show up on here eventually. Like there's some really cool glitch ones I use on my Stream Deck. Once those are on here, I'll be really happy and I can make everything match. For plugins, all of the plugins that you really need are on here. Like you have all your OBS plugins, you have all your Twitch plugins, you have your YouTube here. There are several other things for productivity. You have all your bar rater ones, like I mentioned before, for Spotify, OBS, Twitch, NVIDIA, Zoom, etc. So all of the necessity plugins, I would say, are here. Maybe some of the like I said, really niche plugins that are on the Elgato Stream Deck are not here right now. But I think this market, once more people adopt this product, I really think the options for this are really just going to grow. And for the asking price of this is really good when you're comparing it again to the Stream Deck. Some categories here are still empty, like smart home. Finance really only has one, but I don't know who's really using their Stream Decks or a controller like this for finance. Lighting, monitoring, this one's empty, which is strange because a lot of the utility ones kind of also act as monitoring your PC, and that's how I was able to add those CPU and GPU monitoring options on my controller here. You also have hardware info here as well, just like you do on the Stream Deck plugin. And really, there's plenty here to get you started. And if you wanted to make the full switch from the Elgato one to the AmpliGame, it really would not be that hard besides just setting everything up, especially just for your basic streamer or YouTuber out there. Everything you need is still here, and you can set screensavers on this as well. And it is kind of just a cheaper version of the Stream Deck, but you're kind of really not losing much. This store, my one criticism is the store is empty in comparison. It just seems like everything you need is here, but there's not that much fun apps here as there is on the Elgato marketplace, but hopefully that will change in the future. So I've been really happy with the FIFINE so far, software and just a user interface wise. Next, let's take a look at the FIFINE website so we can see all the other specifications listed on there. So this is the FIFINE website, and their site has gotten a lot more professional looking recently. So if you want to get to this, you want to click to others, and it will be right there. It's labeled as a customizable keyboard, which is interesting. So here you go. This is the AmpliGame. It is $78.99, not $79.99 like I mentioned earlier. Then you can see there with the controller and the instruction manual and the cable with the adapter that doesn't work properly. They have some FAQ right here. This is where you can download that software I was showing you before for Windows and Mac. This device is Mac compatible, just so that everyone is aware of that. And you can buy it directly off the FIFINE website, or you can also get it on Amazon. Here's the Amazon page, and it's the exact same price on Amazon, but if you have your preference, whether you have Prime shipping or what have you, you have the option of buying it on Amazon. This also comes in a white option as well, so you can match your setup, whether black or white. I think that pretty much covers everyone's setup out there, especially when you have the RGB around it as well. And the white one is also on a Prime Spring deal right now, apparently. So the white one is actually cheaper than the black one at $68.84. Today is March the 26th. I'm not sure how long the Amazon Spring deal is going on, but hey, if you want a white one, you can save a little bit money on Amazon. I will leave links to the FIFINE website and the Amazon listing for this in the description below. So I really didn't know what to expect out of this device when I first got it. I've been really happy with it as a Elgato Stream Deck alternative. If you really just need a controller to control OBS and some Twitch stuff and YouTube, or something for hotkeys, there really isn't a need to spend the $150 on the Elgato Stream Deck when you have this right here, which is half the price, and the buttons are a little bit bigger and sharper, and they feel nicer too, as I mentioned earlier. I'd maybe get a different cable just because that USB-A adapter on the end doesn't really work how it should. That's a minor thing and an easily fixable thing. So I do recommend this for content creators out there that are looking for a controller to make your streams happen a little bit more fluidly, but you're not willing to dump the high price for the Elgato products quite yet. They're perfectly fine products. I've never really met anyone that disliked a Elgato product, but they are pretty pricey, and this is a valid alternative to the standard Stream Deck. So this is a solid product. I like it. I like it a lot, and I do recommend it. This has been a departure from my previous videos of covering game controllers. I am hoping to cover more tech things on this channel. We will be reviewing game controllers in the future, so don't worry, that's not going away. I would just like to have a little bit more variety on this channel. I don't want to be known as just a controller guy. So with that said, if you liked this video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the description if you got nothing to say. Leave your favorite emoji and that will help with engagement. I also stream on Twitch. A link for that will be appearing right about here. So if you'd like to stop by and ask about any product I have reviewed or just hang out, you can come follow me over on Twitch. As mentioned, I will leave links to this in the description below for the FIFINE website and the Amazon links where you can get the white or the black version. And side note, I've tried a different camera for this video, so if it doesn't seem quite as sharp as my other ones, I apologize for that. I'm still trying to work out the kinks of this new setup. And with that, I think that's going to wrap up this video. This is a solid product, and I would like to thank FIFINE for sending it out to me. I am Chronic Mayhem, and I will see you all next time. Peace.